What is up, everyone? It is Vincent from the Big Pro Wrestle Talk Network today, and today is the day of Saturday night's main event, live in Utah. It is November the 1st. Merry Christmas to everyone. Halloween is in the past, and Survivor Series this month. What's going to happen?
Big Pro Wrestle Talk Network. Big Pro Wrestle Talk Network. Wrestle Talk Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, like I said before, the luxurious intro into this video. Tonight is Saturday night's main event, live in Salt Lake City, Utah. And something that is kind of just feels like it's thrown together in a way, but I'm not really here to talk about that. I'm here to talk about the show that I have here upon this head here, and that is Survivor Series. War Games is apparently still happening because they've been promoting it. They got Ozzy, God rest his soul. They got War Pigs for the theme song again. There are a lot of I don't know's going into this year's Survivor Series. Like last year, you can kind of tell that they were going to run with the Bloodline versus Bloodline story, and they did that, and it was amazing. I loved it. I do think that Solo's Bloodline should have won, but that's whatever. That's besides the point. Something that is really weird right now is that there's not really any stories that can lead us into War Games on the male side or the female side. Now, last year we saw this with the women's War Games, and they kind of just threw some stuff together, and it kind of worked out. You know, it was a pretty good match. But I'm thinking like men and women this year. There's not really a whole bunch of story around it. And why do you... So I'm sure you're wondering, why did I bring up Saturday night's main event if I'm talking about Survivor Series? It's because my thought of what should happen, how I would book this situation with the World Heavyweight Championship is probably not what you would expect. So this thought kind of popped into my mind last week, and I thought, you know what? I feel like I have to put this out in the world. I feel like if this is put out in the world, maybe something can happen, because I'm a big believer of put things out there and some things can happen. Like, I've had many instances in my life where that has happened, and so now I thought I'd try it with this, and sure, nothing's probably going to come of it, but it would be nice to, get that thought in some people's head if people were to see this video. But now I'm sure, again, why are you babbling when you're talking about Saturday night's main event and Survivor Series? So tonight, CM Punk and Jey Uso, they are fighting for the vacant World Heavyweight Championship, right? Yes. And there was no inclusion of the bronze in the Battle Royal that Jey Uso won to get that world title shot. The bronze were nowhere in sight when Punk won, but that's because Rollins was still the World Heavyweight Champion at the time, and there was no speculation of him getting hurt like that. And so there was the speculation, but there was never any fully disclosed details like there was the following week. But now, why I'm talking about this, the bronze, like I said, the bronze were nowhere near involved in any of it. And so I can see tonight the bronze being Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker getting involved in that World Heavyweight Championship match and making it a no contest. People are going to hate it. People are going to think it's the worst Triple H booking ever, because Triple H has been getting a lot of flack recently for a lot of his booking, and honestly, I have that belief of you gotta wait and see what happens, because that is just the era of wrestling that we are in. It's not kayfabe is dead. It's the new style of kayfabe where we don't know what's coming next. We you think of guys like MJF who stay in character outside of television sometimes when they're in public, and people call him MJF rather than Max and stuff like that. But that's not about AEW. We're not talking about AEW. But So yeah, the Bronze are going to get involved. The Bronze are going to cause a no contest. Jey Uso and CM Punk are gonna. It's going to be a whole thing. Then it'll probably lead to like a Monday Night Raw thing. It's going to go into something else, and we still have our Cena dates ahead of us. We still have a return of Gunther in there. So what I think that the WWE could do from this point is make War Games a singles, not a singles match, but like a 10-man War Games match where it's every man for himself, and it's like a championship scramble type situation. Now, I'm sure you're wondering, Vince, that could never work. 10 men in 2 rings surrounded by a cage would just mean that there's always going to be somebody around to break up a pin. But this is where this idea can turn into like a championship scramble. The last time there was a championship scramble in the WWE was back in 2009 at the Bash. For the ECW championship, and I'm pretty sure, if my mind is correct, Tommy Dreamer had won that match. And so how a championship scramble match works, if you don't know, there is a time limit. And every, I think it was like 90 seconds or every minute, somebody came out, and there was a whole thing there. But in between, you can get pinfalls. And at that point, you are known as the current champion. And you can be that current champion until the time limit runs out. And if you are still the current champion, you are that champion. I can see War Games kind of developing into this thing this year where it can be like a 10-man scramble match. And it can bring 10 of the greatest that Raw has to offer. How they get there, I don't know, but there's a lot of great contenders for this, especially if that world title is still vacant. Now, every wrestler that I'm going to include here is going to have some sort of story with the World Heavyweight Championship. And it's going to lead into something bigger, I think. It could branch off into something else going down the line. It could have major implications going into Saturday Night's main event on December 13th, which would be the last like premium live event type situation for the WWE in 2025. So, the first person who I would have in this Scramble War Games match is CM Punk. I feel like it's a given. He's been screwed over time and time again. And he was one of the members in Saturday Night's main event tonight who could potentially get cost that title. And they could have a vacant, the title being vacant going into Survivor Series. And this could be a great story going into it. And I feel like I don't really have to go deeper into CM Punk because CM Punk, he got cashed in on at SummerSlam. He would now be screwed out of the world title tonight. There's been plenty of times where CM Punk has been screwed out of the world title. And so that can go into that. The next member in the match would be main event Jey Uso, Yeet. He has story going into it too. He wants to be his own man, a new man, a man driven by success and who wants to be the World Heavyweight Champion. A man similar to that is Roman Reigns, who I actually do not have in this match because Jey Uso is going to be his own thing going into it, and it's going to be like I need this. This is for me. And how he can get into this match is by... Oh, no, it's kind of similar to Punk here because Punk would be involved in that World Heavyweight title match and Jey Uso is involved in that World Heavyweight title match tonight. So it kind of just automatically puts them in that position of, okay, they are definitely in contention for the World Heavyweight Championship. They have earned this spot. They fought for it, and now they get to, they get to fight for it, basically. And so another member I would have in this match is Jimmy Uso. Why? I can see Jimmy going up to Jay and being like, hey, I know you want that World Heavyweight title, but if you're doing it for you, Us, I'm doing it for me. And so then he goes to Adam Pearce, whoever, and he somehow gets himself a contendership type thing for the World Heavyweight Championship at War Games, and he gets in it. It could be like a whole thing there. And I don't. It doesn't even have to be that. It could just be like Jimmy saying like, "Hey, you want to try for that world title, Us? I'm going to try to work for that world title myself." And then that kind of just goes from there. So yeah, so far we have CM Punk, Jey Uso, and Jimmy Uso. Another man is a man who has been given many, many opportunities at World Championships, and he has slipped through the cracks at every single time. And that man is L.A. Knight. Yeah. He definitely should get some sort of like involvement in this, and I'll say something later on about him, but I do think that LA Knight definitely is in that, should be in that spot if they do decide to go like the 10-man War Games match. I just feel like he's had many opportunities, and this could be this could be billed as his last opportunity, whatever. I don't know. But I do think that LA Knight would have some sort of inclusion in that match. Next up is, I'm just going to count 2 and 1, the Bronze. Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker. They're definitely going to be involved in the World Heavyweight Championship somehow within the next 6 months to a year. Either of them, it could be like somebody turning on the other to get that world title, whatever. I do see them carving their path to the world title. Bronson Reed's a machine. He's been one of my favorites since his time in NXT. He was actually one of the first people I wanted to see Triple H bring back when Triple H came in Power of Creative. And I'm pretty sure I have a video on that. I made predictions, and Bronson Reed was one of the people in that. So definitely Bronson Reed or Braun Breaker going to be world champion in the future. Maybe this could be their time, and I do think that they would be involved in this match. Next up is Dirty Dominic Mysterio. Why? He has 2 belts. He has the AAA Mega Championship. He has the WWE Intercontinental Championship, and I can see Dom being the heel he is. He wants to have 3 belts, 1 around his waist and 2 over his shoulders. And I think for him being a heel, that would be great for him to get involved in a match like this. And with his momentum that he's been building, would be amazing for this style of match for him. I can definitely see Dominic Mysterio being involved in something like this in any way. And same for the next guy who I'd put in this, Finn Balor. Finn Balor and Dominic Mysterio have been kind of having this little feud going on, so maybe somehow during that, they just attack each other. They say F this, Judgment Day to hell, and they become this huge feud, and this can go into WrestleMania next year. So who knows? Finn Balor and Dominic Mysterio will definitely be involved. The next man who I would love to have involved in this is John Cena. Now, yes, I did say that John Cena would be this could have major implications going into Saturday night's main event in December. And John Cena is having his last match in December. And I can see John Cena getting involved in this, and that could be a whole thing because he has 2 Monday Night Raw dates left, and then he has his Saturday night's main event in Survivor Series. So they're definitely going to have some sort of build to that, and maybe it's during a match with him and Dominic Mysterio for the Intercontinental title or something like that. Finn Balor gets involved, and this can spark a whole thing. And somebody else, the final member in this match, could be one Gunther. It's rumored that John Cena is going to be facing Gunther in his last match. In Cena's last match. It's rumored that it's going to be Gunther and John Cena. So I feel like this could be a huge way to get that ball rolling. So after Gunther and Cena are fighting in the cage in the 2 rings, you can have that moment of like Cena getting pinned by Gunther or something if it's like the scramble style match, and that is the only time Cena gets pinned in that match, and Cena does not get that title at all in the match. But now I gave all these names. I gave 10 names, I'm pretty sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I've given 10 names. 10 big names who would actually do this would work. This could work. But how would we get there? So like I said, Punk, Jey Uso, they should already just be automatically like put in it. Whatever. They could be like a tag match, a 6-man tag. Punk and the Usos against the Brawns and whoever else is involved. It could be the Brawns and Dominic Mysterio for all I care. I don't know. And then we just get this brawl type thing that just comes out. Like, where it's just all these different guys coming out. We got Punk, we got Jay, we got Jimmy, we got LA Knight, we got the Bronze. We got all them fighting in the ring. We got Cena, who just comes out of nowhere. Finn Balor and Dominic, I can say they've already broken up at this point because they can do, like, the John Cena stuff. And then this is John Cena's last Raw appearance, where Cena comes out to help join in the fun in the big brawl that happens. And then who comes out after Cena? A returning Gunther. Gunther could come out and really like game change it for them all. And there is 10 men. There are heels, there are faces, but I don't think that they should go the 5-on-5 War Games Survivor Series style. I think that they should do the 10 individual match for the vacant World Heavyweight Championship. Adam Pearce can come out, interrupt everything, and be like, "Stop it! Enough!" By the way, Adam Pearce has me blocked on Instagram. Isn't that crazy? Adam Pearce has me blocked on it. I don't even know why or how. But yeah, that's going to be a different video where I talk about stuff like that. But that's besides the point. Adam Pearce can come out saying, enough. You guys want the world title. Everybody's wanting to fight. Fine. You guys can do it in War Games or something like that. And then it can go into that. It could be magic. It could be anything that you want it to be. And I think that this could work. I do think that if there is somebody who somehow stumbles upon this video, this could be something amazing that the WWE could do going into Survivor Series, because right now, like I said, there's not really a whole lot of story going into War Games. Yes, they still have about 3 weeks to build up to War Games, but I don't see it happening. I don't see War Games being this huge event like that unless they do something with the World Heavyweight Championship that is still vacant on that card. And I don't know. I do think with Saturday night's main event tonight, I do think that the Browns are going to cause a no contest, and who knows what could happen after that, you know? So, ladies and gentlemen, if you watch this video, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. Like I said, we have more content coming out soon. We're going to be streaming the Monday Night Raw, SmackDown, NXT, maybe NXT. I don't know. I want to get into that. So. Yeah, this was just kind of a out of the blue video today. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. Peace.
Drop the like button, give the subscribe button a people's elbow, and body slam the follow button on Instagram at BPWT Network.